There's something different about Alex Pereira. His presence in the octagon isn't just that of a fighter, it's something almost mythical. A former two-division Glory kickboxing champion, Pereira bulldozed his way into the UFC, capturing gold in 2 weight classes. He is a man who thrives in battle, a warrior who built his name on devastating knockouts and ice-cold composure. But on March 8, 2025, the unthinkable happened. Against Magomed Ankalaev, a fighter known for his calculated, sometimes frustratingly patient approach, Pereira faced an opponent who wasn't there to trade shots. Ankalaev had a plan, and it worked. Today, we break down everything. The story before the fight, the battle itself, what happened afterward, and what's next for Poatan. This is the full breakdown of Alex Pereira's loss at UFC 313. You could feel it in the air before this fight. This wasn't just another title defense for Alex Pereira. It was a challenge that many believed would expose him. Some saw this as the classic striker versus wrestler matchup, but I saw something deeper. This was a test of whether Pereira's meteoric rise was built on pure dominance, or if the right style would finally slow him down. Let's be honest. Pereira had been cutting through the UFC like a man on a mission. From knocking out Adesanya to dismantling Jiri Prochazka, his power wasn't just dangerous, it was borderline terrifying. He made world-class fighters look hesitant, unsure, almost afraid to engage. The left hook, it was like a cheat code. If he landed, it was over, simple as that. But Ankalaev was different. He wasn't going to stand there and trade like Jiri. He wasn't going to try and outstrike Pereira like Adesanya once did. This was a guy who played chess, not checkers. No wasted movement, no unnecessary risks. And more importantly, he knew exactly what everyone was saying. People forget Ankalaev should have already been champion. The fight with Jan Błachowicz, he won that, or at least he should have. A split draw robbed him of gold, and the UFC just moved on. No immediate rematch, no real acknowledgement. For 2 years, this guy sat in the background, listening to fans call him boring, watching Pereira become the golden boy at 205. If you don't think that fueled him, you weren't paying attention. This fight had so many layers to it. Was Pereira really untouchable? Could Ankalaev break the pattern and actually make him look human? And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. If Ankalaev did win, how was he going to do it? By playing it safe and dragging Pereira into deep waters? Or was he actually going to go out there and take the fight to him? There were so many questions leading into this fight, but one thing was for sure. By the time that cage door closed, we were going to get answers. The moment the fight started, you could feel the tension, not in the crowd, because they were roaring, but inside that cage. Pereira wasn't sprinting forward. Ankalaev wasn't overcommitting. This was 2 men who knew exactly what was at stake. And when 2 high-level fighters respect each other's weapons, the first few moments are always a chess match. Now, right away, Pereira does what Pereira does. He starts establishing the low kicks. And man, these aren't just setups. These are weapons. You could hear the crack every time his shin dug into Ankalaev's leg. And if you've followed Ankalaev's career, you know he's had trouble with leg kicks before. It was smart, it was calculated, and most importantly, it was working. But here's the thing, Ankalaev is patient, almost too patient at times. He didn't panic, he didn't rush a takedown, he just absorbed the data. You could see it, he was figuring out Pereira's rhythm, watching the setups, and then, boom, first real level change. His was huge. If Ankalaev had gotten that takedown early, the fight could have gone downhill fast for Pereira. But the way Pereira defended, that showed me something. People forget, this guy's been wrestling with Glover Teixeira for years now. He's not some clueless kickboxer anymore. That first takedown attempt, stuffed, and that was a message. But this is where the fight started to shift. Ankalaev wasn't going to win a kickboxing match. He had to take risks, and late in the first round, he does just that. He times Pereira's kick, steps in, and cracks him with a right hand. Now Pereira's chin, it's insane. This dude eats shots that would put most guys in a coma. But that one, it got his attention. And more importantly, it gave Ankalaev confidence. Round 2 starts, and Ankalaev has figured something out. He's not playing the outside game anymore. He's closing the distance, cutting angles, forcing Pereira to react. And then, boom, the first clean takedown. This was the moment Ankalaev had been waiting for. Pereira on his back under a guy with serious top control. Now, if this was 2 years ago, this would have been a disaster for Pereira. But again, this is a different version of him. He stays composed, works the underhooks, and slowly inches his way back to the cage. But Ankalaev, he's smart. He's not wasting energy throwing reckless ground and pound. He's making Pereira carry his weight, softening him up, wearing him down. And for the first time in a long time, Pereira looks a little uncomfortable. The round ends, and if you're scoring this fight, it's 1-1 now. Ankalaev took over in that second round. And now, it's all about who can adjust first. This is where things get crazy. Pereira comes out aggressive. He knows Ankalaev has confidence now, and he wants to take it away immediately. He starts throwing feints, keeps chopping at the legs, and then, boom, a left hook from hell. 99% of fighters go down from that. But Ankalaev? This dude is built differently. He stumbles, regains his footing, and immediately shoots a takedown. And let me tell you, that saved him. If he tried to trade after eating that shot, he wouldn't be standing. Now, here's where opinions will start to split. Ankalaev spends most of the round on top, but he's not doing much. He's controlling, yes. He's landing small shots, sure. But is he winning the fight or just surviving? That's the question. The last 2 rounds is not worth discussing if you saw the match, you know. And finally, after this war, Ankalaev won with unanimous decision, which I think is fair. Close, but fair. He deserved the win. Post-match is where the real drama started. Here is what both fighters said.
Yeah, he put some pressure in the second round. I felt some of his strikes, but, putting me up against the cage, he didn't really do anything.
What was your strategy coming in here to deal with that kind of pressure? And what do you think, if anything, went wrong?
Não, essa aí era a nossa estratégia. A gente fez, tudo certo, mas, ele me segurou na grade.
No, we followed our strategy. We know that he puts people against the fence and he plays that game. But, giving him the win with a game plan like that, it kind of incentivates people to do that against people. People might say it's a boring style, but, when a guy gets a win doing that, it kind of makes people want to do that too. Yeah, I heard him against the fence. The only difference is I was the one against the fence.
You were one of the most active champions in this sport, if not the most active. What do you do now? Do you take some time to relax and recover, or do you seek an immediate rematch?
Não, vou estar treinando, eu tô bem. Foi uma luta dura, mas
I'm going to keep training. I feel good. I don't think I'm hurt or in any way. I'm going to take a few days off and get back to training. This is my life.
Here is what Dana White said.
Clearly, we don't matchmake on fight night, but a fight that close with a champion as great as Pereira has been, do you lean towards immediate rematch?
Probably.
He did outright say it. He said, it was close. Some people had it one way, some had it another. We'll see what happens next. Which, in Dana language, booking Pereira versus Ankalaev 2. Pereira responded.
É isso aí, pessoal. Algumas marcas. Mas estou bem. Descansar um pouco. Já estou voltando, né? Como eu sempre fiz. Já aconteceu algumas vezes isso comigo, mas, eu tô bem, né? Agradeço todo o apoio de vocês, né? Com todo o carinho, sempre me apoiando. Estou recebendo muitas mensagens também de grande incentivo. Estou aqui com o pessoal, minha família, meu time, meus filhos, tá todo mundo aqui, todo mundo comendo aqui. Aí, ó, vamos pedir umas pizzas e é isso, né? Vida que segue. Obrigado a todo mundo, né? Obrigado ao meu time. E é isso, pessoal. Fazer essa revanche aí e ajustar algumas coisas, né? E voltar muito melhor. Pode esperar isso, tá bom, pessoal? E é isso. Nunca desista dos seus sonhos. Chama.
His ex-girlfriend makes a video to mock him. What do you think about her? Let me know in the comments.
We have a new light heavyweight champion. No more Shama, Kama. So, he lost at the International Women's Day. Maybe that's a sign, guys. I don't know. New light heavyweight champion, Ankalaev. Congrats. He did a really good job. If you guys are talking robbery, you don't understand anything from MMA. So let's not talk about robbery. That's completely BS. This guy won, and actually, he got this title shot very, very late, right? So I think we should give him some props. Even if we don't like him or we don't like his fighting style, we should give him some props.
So, where does Alex Pereira go from here? I think he has a few options. The rematch with Ankalaev. Let's start with the most obvious option, the rematch with Magomed Ankalaev. Look, say what you want about the scoring, but that fight was close. This is very possible. Jiri Prochazka 2, the fan favorite fight. If the UFC is thinking about entertainment, there's one fight that makes the most sense. A rematch with Jiri Prochazka. A new challenger, Jamahal Hill or Jan Błachowicz. Then there's the wild card. The UFC might decide to throw in someone new. Jamahal Hill is still waiting for his shot after vacating the belt, and Jan Błachowicz is lurking, always in the conversation. The ultimate move, heavyweight? Now let's talk about the craziest but maybe the most exciting option, moving up to heavyweight. Pereira is already huge for 205. The weight cut is brutal. And let's not forget, he's fought at heavyweight before in kickboxing. The power translates. The question is, does he want to take that risk? So what's the most likely option? If I had to bet, I think the UFC runs it back with Jiri Prochazka. No matter what's next for Alex Pereira, one thing is certain. He's not just another fighter. He's a warrior, a champion, and one of the most dangerous strikers the UFC has ever seen. Does he defend his belt again? Does he move up and chase history? Or does he take on another dangerous challenge at 205? Whatever happens, one thing is for sure. When Alex Pereira fights, the world watches. So tell me, who should he fight next? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's settle this debate. This is ATIJ, you have been watching Ava MMA. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. More fight content coming soon. See you in the next one.